Bruce Lee once said, "Be water, my friend." But what does that really mean? More than just a famous quote, it's a profound way of thinking, a mindset of adaptability, resilience, and flow. In this video, we'll dive deep into Bruce Lee's philosophy and explore how embracing the nature of water can help us navigate life's challenges with ease and strength. Whether you're facing obstacles, seeking growth, or just looking for inspiration, this lesson is for you. Let's get started. Bruce Lee's philosophy of being like water is more than just words. It's a way of life. It's a lesson in adaptability, resilience, and the ability to flow with the ever-changing nature of existence. What does it truly mean to be like water? Water is one of the most powerful forces in nature. It can be calm and still, reflecting the world around it like a mirror. But it can also be fierce, carving through rock, shaping landscapes over time. Water finds a way through every obstacle, not by force, but by flowing around, over, or through whatever stands in its path. Bruce Lee understood this deeply. He saw martial arts, and life itself, as an expression of this fluidity. He didn't believe in rigid forms or fixed patterns. Instead, he believed in adaptability, in moving with what is, rather than fighting against it. Think about how water behaves. If you pour it into a cup, it takes the shape of the cup. If you pour it into a bottle, it conforms to the bottle. If you pour it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Water doesn't resist. It doesn't try to hold its own shape against the container. It becomes whatever holds it. This is the essence of being adaptable. Life constantly changes. Circumstances shift. Obstacles appear. People come and go. Those who cling to a fixed way of thinking or behaving will struggle. They will resist change, and in that resistance, they will suffer. But those who flow, those who adjust and embrace change, will always find a way forward. Bruce Lee was not just a martial artist. He was a philosopher. He understood that true power comes not from force, but from flexibility. If you try to punch through a stone wall with brute strength, you will break your hand. But if you are like water, you do not try to break the wall. You flow around it. You find another way. This applies to more than just fighting. It applies to every aspect of life. Think about your own challenges. How often do you resist what is happening? How often do you try to force things to go your way instead of adapting to the reality before you? When we cling to expectations, we suffer. We expect people to act a certain way. We expect life to unfold according to our plans. But life does not work that way. Life is unpredictable. It moves in ways we cannot always control. If we remain rigid, we break. If we stay attached to a single outcome, we set ourselves up for disappointment. But if we can be fluid, if we can flow with change instead of against it, we can navigate life with grace. This is not about passivity. Being like water does not mean giving up or being weak. Water is not weak. It can wear down mountains. It can carve through stone. It can shape the world itself. But it does so over time, with patience, with persistence. In martial arts, this principle is crucial. If you remain stiff and unyielding, you become predictable. You can be easily defeated. But if you remain fluid, if you adapt to your opponent's movements, you become unstoppable. You do not meet force with force. You redirect it, you absorb it, you use it to your advantage. This is the heart of Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, his personal martial arts philosophy. It is a style without a fixed style. It takes what is useful and discards what is not. It does not cling to tradition for tradition's sake. It evolves, it grows, it flows. And this is exactly how we should approach life. Imagine you are facing a difficult situation, a challenge, an obstacle, a hardship. Most people react in one of two ways. They either fight against it, resisting what is happening, or they collapse under the pressure, feeling helpless. But what if, instead, you adapted? What if you accepted the reality of the situation and found a way to move with it, instead of against it? This is what it means to be like water. Water does not complain when it encounters a rock. It does not stop and say, "This rock shouldn't be here." It simply finds another way. It moves around the rock, over it, under it. If given enough time, it can even wear the rock down completely. This philosophy applies to our minds as well. Bruce Lee tells us to empty our minds, to be formless, shapeless. What does this mean? It means letting go of fixed beliefs. It means not being trapped by rigid ideas or assumptions. It means staying open to new perspectives, to new possibilities. Too often, we are prisoners of our own thinking. We cling to our opinions. We hold on to old habits, even when they no longer serve us. We resist change because we fear the unknown. But a mind that is empty, that is flexible, is free. If your mind is like a cup that is already full, you cannot pour anything new into it. But if you empty the cup, if you let go of your assumptions, you make space for growth. You make space for learning, for transformation. This is the key to personal evolution. The world is always changing. Those who refuse to change with it will be left behind. But those who can adapt, those who can flow, will thrive. There is another lesson in Bruce Lee's words, the dual nature of water. He says, water can flow, or it can crash. This means that sometimes, softness is the right approach. Sometimes, we must be gentle, adaptable, and yielding. But other times, we must be powerful. We must crash through obstacles. We must break through barriers. Wisdom lies in knowing when to flow and when to crash. When to be gentle and when to be strong. When to adapt and when to stand firm. Being like water is not about being passive. It is about choosing the right response to the situation at hand. If someone pushes you, you do not need to push back with equal force. Instead, you can redirect their energy. If life throws an obstacle in your path, you do not need to fight it head on. Instead, you can find a way around it. This is true power. This is what Bruce Lee taught, not just through his words, but through the way he lived. He was a fighter, but he was also a thinker. He was strong, but he was also flexible. He was fast, but he was also patient. He did not limit himself to one style, one way of thinking, one rigid path. He was constantly evolving, constantly learning, constantly flowing. And that is what we should strive for in our own lives. So the next time you face a challenge, ask yourself, am I being rigid? Am I resisting what is? Or can I be like water? Can I adapt? Can I find another way? Can I move with the current instead of against it? If you can do this, you will find that life becomes easier. Stress decreases. Obstacles become opportunities. Hardships become lessons. Because water does not fight against the riverbank, it simply flows toward the ocean. Bruce Lee's wisdom goes beyond martial arts. It's a philosophy for life. Water is strong, yet flexible. It can flow, or it can crash. And so can we. When we stop resisting change and start moving with life's currents, we unlock a new level of freedom and power. So the next time you face a challenge, ask yourself, am I being rigid, or can I be like water? Or if you have ever faced a situation where you had to be like water, adapt, flow, and find another way, then share your experience in the comments. And if this message resonates with you, type "Be Water, my friend, in the comments to help spread this wisdom and make this video reach more people. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more motivational content like this. And remember, be water, my friend.